I mean, I see the presentation here on my screen. You want to close and start fresh? Okay. Oh, you're back. Okay. I see. Okay. Yeah, I see a lot of people in there showing up.
Are you kidding me?
I see. I see the presentation now, and everybody is on the top bar. The participants are on the top row, but the big screen in the middle has the presentation.
Kenny, your mic's on, FYI.
So you're good, Amanda? Okay, let me see. Let me see. Did you start the stream or not? I started, so let me go to our website and check it out. Channel. Yeah, you're live. Okay, good. All right, thank you, Amanda. Bye.
Hey,
Hey, Ben, you're good to go. Everything is good.
all right.
So we're gonna sit here.
I can.
Amanda is running the WebEx from home.
So let's make sure this
But
thing.
yes, you're very welcome. And that's your presentation. And you have wonderful things that you want to talk about.
Yeah, I think we'll have to deal with the UV stuff.
See the thing? Oh, like check.
Check down. Check's got a problem.
Secretary Johnson, are you able to hear us?
Yep, can hear you just fine.
Do
Thank
we need
you.
to flip this thing to green?
Which one? Yes. So Amanda can hear, and the people on WebEx can hear.
So when it's time to start,
Are you
flip
gonna
that.
be here?
I can come in here and make sure this is working.
I'm still here.
Okay.
Sure, if you have something else.
I can just
but
bring
if
my
you wanna
computer
take care
in
of
here.
it-
Do my work
No,
thing,
you
just
can-
keep sure the systems don't fall apart.
Hey, Ben, FYI, everyone can hear you guys.
Yeah, I'll make up for it. Let's leave this door ajar.
This is Kenny Albert. Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you, Kenny.
Thank you.
Turn off your microphone when you're not talking.
Yeah, the screen set up.
Good morning, Secretary Johnson. Am I correct that the EV Phase 2 hearings won't begin until 11:20, it looks like?
Well, it's going to begin 10 minutes after the conclusion of the administrative meeting, so it'll, depending on how long that goes, it could be earlier than that.
Understand. I'll stick on then. Thanks.
Sure thing.
Good morning, Andrew. This is Jeffrey, the court reporter.
Hey, Jeff.
Hi. When do I start recording?
At the beginning of the next one, there will be a break after this, and then we're going into the EV hearings.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
Sure thing.
I'm gonna have to step out here. Hold on. His phone is gonna be.
Andrew,
She's on mic.
Yep.
something happened with the filing. I'm not quite certain what. So I had filed it, I thought, on Monday afternoon, but you tell me what you want me to do to proceed.
I'll take a quick look, but if you want to just verbally describe the filing.
Okay, and I do have PPRP and the individual that did all the numbers too, so they can go on to explain the details.
This is for Morgnac.
Yes, Morgnac. We made
Yep.
2 filings, and I really don't know what happened to the Morgnac one, which was the more important one.
Okay.
But
Do you
And I
have a
know
mail
that-
log?
I thought I did. Let me find it. And to make matters worse, I got to my office and my computer's not working, so now I'm on Steve's computer.
Yeah,
It's a
everything's working today really well.
Huh?
Everything's working quite well today.
And I know that David Bugelman's also yesterday. He did share Sandra's filing with the group, but I can find the mail log number for you.
Yeah, and all the politicians.
Look at them.
It's Maryland water.
Okay.
They've got a couple school systems.
Right, yeah, it's kind of screwy. There's no vacancy.
Secretary Johnson, it's mail log number 317569.
Just make sure this thing gets worked out. There you go.
And
I'll go get
Andrew, that may be another filing because I made like 3 or 4 filings on Monday. So I may have mixed it up. That's the only thing I can think of. But
I never.
that's the one I thought it was anyway.
Okay. Thank you.
Are we logging into our?
So you are live on, once I flip this switch,
WebEx.
we'll be live.
Okay.
WebEx. And
But
then,
as far as actually being a participant, we do this through our computer.
you can do it through the mics right there if you want, but if you want to do it, like, if you want to be able to see, like, they don't need to do it
You don't
personally.
have to do
No,
it.
you don't need
Okay,
to,
so
because you're up on the screen, so yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let me reboot the screen, Steve. Well, that's because of the power outage.
Yeah.
No, no.
But yeah, it's got it up there. I just need to make sure this thing goes.
Okay, the commissioners do have that filing.
Might be on TV.
So let's
Presentation.
hope they come up. But obviously,
Here, yeah.
if they don't come up, probably some of them got zapped out. That one is good. Okay. How about this? Okay. Anyway. Well, we
I'll
have-
fix that. All right. Fred, just tell me.
on my
Not an apple. Enjoy that for 270 days.
Joe's piece.
Okay. All right, welcome to the Public Service Commission's meeting of April 9, 2025. So regarding the addition here of Chief Judge McClain. Okay. All right, is that better? Is that better? All right, I'll see. So regarding, wait a minute.
I think you're signed in twice somehow.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
Is that better? Does that work? Okay, no echo. So,
Can I do a sound check?
Public Utility Chief Judge McClain is sitting in for Commissioner Bonnie Sussman, who is at a conference in DC, and Commissioner Barbe wasn't available today. So we have this as our quorum. The first item is to approve the minutes from our meeting of April 2nd, 2025. Judge McClain.
Abstain.
Okay. Mr. Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye.
Morning, Mr. Chair. There are 2 items on today's consent agenda. Item number 1 is an application for a license to supply natural gas from Horizon Power and Light LLC. Item number 2 is a request for a construction and operational deadline extension from Morganex Solar Inc. Road Solar Inc.
Okay, so regarding item 1, I move that we grant the company a license to operate as a natural gas supplier in Maryland for the customer classes and service territories applied for and recommended by staff. Direct the company to provide marketing materials and marketing and training materials specific to its Maryland operations to the commission staff and the Office of People's Counsel 30 days prior to the utilization of those materials in Maryland. And 3, direct the company to notify the commission within 30 days of any changes in the information contained in the application. Chief Judge McClain. Aye. Commissioner Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye. Regarding item 2. I move that we grant the company the requested extension of the construction deadline to November 27, 2025, and the operational deadline to November 27, 2026, as specified in condition 3 of the CPCN issued to construct the Morganex Road Solar Project. Chief Judge McClain. Aye. Commissioner Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye.
Item 3 on the administrative agenda consists of tariff revisions from Delmarva Power and Light Company.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. Eric Delgado on behalf of staff. On March 5th, 2025, the Delmarva Power and Light Company filed proposed tariff revisions to update its multi-year rate plan adjustment rider to comply with Commission Order number 91511 and case number 9681. The revisions extend the rate year 3 rates from December 31st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026. Staff has reviewed the company's proposed tariff changes and notes that the extent of the tariff changes are to update the rate year 3 end date from December 31st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026. Staff finds DPL's proposed tariff changes consistent with the Commission's decision to extend the rate year 3 rates by 6 months as directed. Staff recommends that the Commission accept DPL's proposed tariff revisions for filing with an effective date of April 9th, 2025. Thank you, and I'm available for any questions.
So, any questions for staff? So, anyone who's here for DPL, go ahead.
This is Kim Curry, representing Delmarva Power.
Right ahead, Ms. Curry.
I'm available for any questions, but just one quick clarification. Our tariff sheets have an effective date, I believe, on February 3rd. That's what's reflected in our file tariff. And I believe staff had set an effective date of April 9th.
So we need to make it the February date?
That's the date the order came out approving this extension. So that's the date we put at the footer of the spread of the tariff sheets.
Have any questions, issues with that? Oh, is that fine? Okay, all right. So give me that date again in February. February what?
February 3rd.
Okay. So regarding item 3, I move we accept the tariff provisions for filing with an effective date of February 3rd, 2025. Commissioner or Chief Judge McLean. Aye. Commissioner Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye.
Item number 4 is a request for a CPCN waiver from the Potomac Edison Company.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. Christopher Lowe on behalf of staff. On January 31st, 2025, Potomac Edison filed a request with the Commission for a mandatory waiver of the CPCN requirement under the PUA Section 7-207B4I. The company requests this waiver to install a short transmission line loop from the existing Albright to Cross School AFA 138 kV line into the company's proposed Kitzmiller substation in Garrett County, Maryland, in order to interconnect a solar generating facility with PE's distribution system. CPV Backbone Solar LLC is constructing a 175 megawatts solar facility which will connect to PE system by looping the existing Albright to Cross School 138 kV line into the substation. The project involved installing a 170-foot-long 138 kV line loop and 3 new structures. The construction is scheduled to begin this month, April 2025. According to PE, the total estimated cost of the project is approximately $7.5 million. PE will not seek cost recovery for this project through its Maryland rate, as CPV Backbone is responsible for 100% of the entire project's cost, including the design, procurement, and construction of the Kitzmiller substation. Staff concludes that the statutory requirements for obtaining a waiver under PUA Section 7-207B4I has been met, because all work involved with the project relates to the existing overhead transmission lines designed to carry voltage greater than 69 kV, and PE will not need to obtain any new property or additional rights-of-way through eminent domain for the project. And none of the new structures being added are larger or higher than the existing structures, and there will be no increase in voltage or conductor size. Staff also notes that even if the Commission determines that the project should not be granted a mandatory waiver under PUA 7-207B4I, the project may also qualify for a discretionary waiver under PUA Section 7-207B3II for the reasons discussed in staff's comments. Staff also notes that PBRB filed a letter on April 7, 2025, stating that it does not oppose approval of this project. Staff recommends that the Commission grant PE's request for a mandatory waiver of the CPCN requirement under PUA Section 7-207B4I to install a short line loop from the existing Albright to Cross School AFA 138 kV line into the proposed Kitzmiller substation. Thank you.
Any questions? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Lowe. Just so I understand this project correctly, we're not talking at all today about the Kitzmiller substation. Is that correct? This is just the loop line that will attach to Kitzmiller and other existing line. Is that correct?
Just the transmission loop line. Yep.
Okay, and the substation itself will be owned by the CPV project. Is that correct?
I believe it's owned by Potomac Edison, but
it will be owned by Potomac Edison, but it's for the exclusive use of the CPV.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, and so again, we're not talking about that at all. None of the costs we're talking about today has anything to do with Kitzmiller. It's just about this line.
The 7.5 million. Maybe Potomac Edison can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the 7.5 million is including the cost for the substation. But the CPV backbone will be responsible for the entire project.
Okay, then for the loop line, that also is going to be completely covered as far as SIAC, I guess would be the correct term for that part of the project. But it will also be owned by Potomac Edison. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, and then just as far as like future, is that also exclusively just there for serving the CPV project?
I think that's only customer, yes, for the solar facility.
Okay, good. I guess the other question is just really about your interaction, or at least the questions that you asked about PJM. So this will not have anything to do with a reliability or a violation. Is that your understanding from the
yes
responses you received back?
Correct.
Did you have any other interaction with the company or with PJM as to why they were requiring it?
You mean the design of?
Yeah, the loop line. I'm just interested to know. So there were no reliability issues. There were no concerns, I guess, otherwise. But if I'm reading the data response 19, question 19, it was required to specify in the PJM open access tariff, transmission tariff. So do we know why? Any background on that?
I do not have the information, but I believe.
I just wanted to find out if there was anything additional, and so I'll just be interested from the company.
Okay.
Again, I support the recommendation. I just would like to understand a little more about the bigger picture here and why when these projects come to us, since we're the CPCN authority, why you're not necessarily getting all the information you're requesting, which it seems there's some holes here. But anyway, thank you, Mr. Lowe. Chairman.
Okay, so who's here on behalf of Potomac Edison?
Hi, good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. This is Joey Chen on behalf of Potomac Edison. First, let me ask, can you hear me clearly? Commissioners, can you hear me clearly?
I can hear.
How about now? Can you hear me clearly?
Chen, if you're trying to talk, you're actually on mute.
Okay, how about
now?
How about now? Can you hear me now?
He is in the cave. I could just have him come in here.
Go ahead.
All right, just need a minute. I'll just come into the cave.
Yeah, just say what? It's really
All right. Good morning, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. Can you hear me now?
yes, yeah.
Excellent. Good morning, Joey Chen on behalf of the Potomac Edison Company, and joining me virtually, hopefully with better success with audio, is my colleague, Travis Turner, who's an engineer with our group. I did note a few questions Commissioner Richard, that you had asked, and hopefully be glad to answer those for you on behalf of the company. First, I want to thank staff. I know Mr. Baker is sitting to my left here, but it's really Mr. Lowe. I want to thank for their review and their analysis and recommendation. Commissioner Richard, you had asked a couple questions related to the cost of the fact that whether or not the Kitzmiller substation is before the commission on this particular request. The Kitzmiller substation itself is not. It is the line loop, and the line loop, as staff had explained, falls within the overall total project cost of about $7.5 million. Now that includes work in Maryland and West Virginia, and in the Maryland piece of the cost is about, I want to say, $4.3 million. Of that, 1.35 will go to the transmission line work. The cost of the Kitzmiller substation are not included in the 4.3 million for Maryland. However, that being said, the cost of the Kitzmiller substation are partly going to be borne by or responsible by the connecting customer, in this case, CPV Backbone Solar. There are the difference between the 4.3 and the 1.3 in terms of the transmission work. The remainder of the 4.3 will include costs related to engineering, oversight testing, the commissioning of the materials to support this construction, security system design. So the costs that the company will incur in terms of looping the line and connecting the customer. The goal of the Kitzmiller substation is to serve exclusively and only the CPV Backbone Solar customer now and in the future. That being said, that there are ancillary benefits that will inure to as a result of the Kitzmiller substation. It's not the driver for the project, but for example, the Kitzmiller substation will provide the company with another sectionalizing point on the Albright Cross School line, and it will also enhance service reliability to customers who are served from the Mount Zion substation. But again, because those are really just, added benefits on top, the main purpose of this construction as a whole, the looping of the line, construction of Kitzmiller, which will be owned by the company, not the customer. The customer will build its own substation, by the way. The purpose of all of this is to connect the customer's solar farm.
Yeah, thank you for that. And again, I'm supportive of the staff recommendation, and so that's really not my intent here. We definitely don't want to add to the queue problems we're having with PJM. We need to get these projects online, so I'm really pleased that we're talking about this today. But one of the things we've been working with, I guess from the organization of PJM states, is really looking at things holistically, and as we're needing to bring more and more resources onto the system, and also look how we're going to be planning for the future for projects like this. It really occurs to me we need to begin to start to make sure we're not stovepiped right here at home here in Maryland, and that we have our own planning processes. So that's why I was interested to hear from the company what when you're working with PJM, and we get an answer that says this has been basically a directive from PJM to do this. What kind of review the company provided, they gave to that directive? I mean, is that something that the information that you provided to PJM and they said you needed to do this, or just give me a sense of how this works within a company that owns a distribution transmission system and your interaction with PJM.
All right, so for this one, I might tap in my colleague, Mr. Turner, but let me just say at the outset that the need for this project is not, as Mr. Lowe pointed out, it is not a PJM reliability project. So this is not what you would normally think of as
exactly. It says it was directed by PJM, and I'd like to kind of understand why was it directed if it's not reliability, and if it's not, these other concerns.
Well, I think perhaps directed might be a little bit of a stretch of a word to use, may not be the right word to use, but as far as the company's obligation to connect and provide service to its customers, in particular new customers, then yes, we need to comply with the expectation and our obligation, which I believe is covered under our responsibilities as a PJM member. Whether or not it's a direct directive or not, I cannot say. And in fact, maybe Mr. Turner could shed a little bit more color to that. How I look at this project, and as I am here to represent to the commission, the project is an interconnection. So it is intended and designed solely for the purpose of interconnecting a specific new customer to our transmission system. And in that sense, it's as it relates to the PJM tariff, would really just be for alignment or in satisfaction of the company's obligation to interconnect its customers to provide new connections. Mr. Turner, if I can call on you for a second.
Good morning, commissioners. Travis Turner with First Energy Service Service Company.
You're talking, we cannot hear you.
Oh, I apologize. Can you hear me now?
It is. Again, I am supportive of wanting to move forward with this project. It just maybe it's just a discussion we can just quickly have on, I think terms matter in these, we're going to be dealing more and more because of our CPCN authority and our obligation to make sure that we're thoroughly looking at these projects and things coming before us. So often when things are presented as a directive, it gives that kind of an urgency. It's like, oh, we have to, perhaps not, I don't want to say use the word rubber stamp, but I think we need a little more precision into exactly what we're talking about. Because again, we have a lot of these projects coming before us, and there are also expectations as we move forward with Order 1920, and also just really as we look at Order 1000 and trying to make that work through the ISAC process. Understand, how these projects fit in. Is there planning behind them, and is there in the context of not just resources we need to bring online, but we're also looking at a lot of potentially large projects to interconnect. And so while we try to get PJM to give us the full picture, we do need our companies, the companies that we regulate, like yours, and own these distribution and transmission systems, and also want to, again, add new load, to give us a better and a more thorough picture as to what's behind these requirements. And then also, we have directed in the past, we need to have a sense that there is some planning, so that we're not just 1 week, talking about potentially a large load project that we need to accommodate. And then, later, we have these resources that we need to bring online as well. We just need to go back to, again, a broader, planning regime. And again, it's kind of hard for us to be part of as a state to be telling through, obviously, we want PJM to be doing this planning if we're not actually doing the same within our own state with our own companies.
Right.
Anyway,
go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt. So this project is a supplemental project. It's not a reliability, but as part of a project that would go through an M3 review or the M3 process, PJM would, I would expect
it causes no harm, and that's great. It causes no harm, but is it the best project? That's what we're really, I think, trying to get at.
Right.
Is it the most cost effective? Now, in this case, it's being paid for by the customer.
Well, and also the nature of the project. I would be remiss if I didn't also come back to the nature of the project. This is an interconnection where you have a solar customer that wants to, bring power and connect its solar facilities, solar build out. The only way they can do it is to connect to the nearby transmission system, which is the framing of our solution. In this case, the planning involved completely on the local side, so on the company side of it, is to loop into the nearby existing transmission line, and is also to construct a substation that would meet provide the power or connect the power to from the solar facility. And you're right. I mean, the process of PJM review is really limited to the do no harm. But I would, I can say that there is the planning that the company undertakes in terms of what the company believes would be the best solution for connecting this particular coupler, including presenting to the customer the option in this case to build and absorb the costs of the project, and that was the agreed upon path forward.
I'm not going to take any more time here, but again, this is an important project. I'm glad you're here today. We're talking about hopefully, and we'll have the opportunity to get more of these projects online as they hopefully get through the interconnection queues. It's just, it's going to be increasingly important. My time here is coming to an end, but going forward, there's a lot coming as far as needing more resources online and also some of these large loads. We need to make sure that we're looking at the most cost-effective solutions. It's getting to be very expensive to be an electric company in Maryland. So, we need more than just kind of one lines PJM required as this. There's got to be an explanation of how the company is ensuring that this is the most cost-effective, and it takes into consideration, now 5 years for the next RTEP, as the RTEPs come along, and then also as we try to hopefully move into 1920, order 1920, and have a broader planning regime. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox now, but again, we just need more and better from the companies right now than, just, PJM directed. I think it needs, a broader discussion of how this fits in, so that when you're here in another week, another project to interconnect, or, a large load, we have the sense that the company is just doing this piecemeal, and, you are thinking about the most cost-effective solutions. So thank you very much, and thank you for indulging me.
Well, I appreciate your feedback, Commissioner Richard, and I will take that back to the company.
All right, so with that, I move we grant the company's request for a mandatory waiver of the CPCN requirement under Public Utility Article 7-207B4I to install a short line loop from the existing Albright Cross School AFA 138 kV line into the company's proposed Kitzmiller substation. Chief Judge McLean.
Aye.
Commissioner Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye.
And item number 5 is a request from Morganex Road Solar LLC for approval of its decommissioning plan.
Mrs. Chair and Commissioners, first of all, on behalf of staff again,
Figure out what our problem is.
on January 29th, 2025, Morganex Road Solar LLC filed a request to the Commission for approval of the decommissioning plan for the solar project as required by PPRP Condition Number 32, which the Commission imposed in authorizing the company to construct its project in case number 9499. PPRP Condition Number 32 requires Morganex to obtain Commission approval for a decommissioning plan along with the cost estimate prepared by a third-party consultant. This plan is necessary to determine the amount of surety bond, letter of credit, or other financial security the company must obtain in connection with the decommissioning. In its filing, Morganex Road Solar outlined its decommissioning activities for the project's equipment at the end of its useful life. The plan also includes the removal of all structures, foundations, and restoration of topsoil and vegetation. The company estimates the total decommissioning cost to be $2.31 million, and the company proposed to secure a bond in the amount of $783,000 to cover the net cost of the decommissioning after accounting for the forecasted salvage value of the project's equipment. The bond encompasses the overhead and management costs, including expenses that may arise at the start of the decommissioning, and also the transportation costs for transporting the solar panels from the project site to the entity that will buy the solar panels, and a 10% contingency fund to cover unforeseen startup expenses. Staff notes that on April 1st, 2025, Mornick filed an update decommissioning plan, and on April 8th, PBRP filed a letter recommending an increased surety bond in the amount of $1,041,032. After reviewing PBRP's filing, staff does not oppose to PBRP's recommendation to increase the surety bond amount. Staff recommends that the Commission accept PBRP's recommendation to increase the surety bond to $1,041,032 and approve Mornick Rose Solar's updated decommissioning plan, and direct the company to provide documentary evidence to securing a surety bond of $1,041,032 prior to the start of construction. Thank you.
So, any questions for staff? Yeah, morning, Mr. Lowe. Could you explain how staff found your review of the estimated decommissioning expenses and how you found them to be reasonable, sir?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Sure. I'm looking at table 3 on page 6. It's estimated decommissioning expenses of the applicant's April 1st filing.
Right.
Okay. Am I correct that staff finds these expenses to be reasonable?
Correct.
Okay. And I was just wondering how you reached that determination, sir.
Well, the staff will review all the costs and also, each item associated with the decommission cost and make sure they're consistent with the previous plan they're approved by the Commission. And also staff review the estimated resale values for the solar panels. And then we're determining the reasonable amount for the surety bond that will cover to cover the decommissioning cost.
All right. Another question for you, sir. It seems like the trend, or at least in a few cases, some old ones and some more recent ones with community solar projects, has been to not include the salvage value, net salvage value. And,
correct.
And so I guess my question would be, why isn't it appropriate to do so here?
Well, there's no consistent approach to determining the amount of the surety bond or any the security to cover the startup costs. And recently, the developer will propose a bond that will include.
Costs for these aren't recovered in rates.
I'm sorry. Yep. In the recent cases, the company will post the amount of bond that will include a 10% contingency fund to cover any unforeseen event at the start of the decommissioning. And also, they will cover the transportation cost and any other overhead or management costs. So that's been a trend, and in the last, I would say, the most recent community solar cases or any other solar utility scale solar project.
Mr. Lowe, do you look at or consider other similarly sized projects when looking at the appropriate amount of the bond?
Staff normally do compared to the any comparable size, and yes, I believe that mostly the amount is consistent and reasonable.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so anybody on from Power Plant?
Good morning, Commissioners. Sandra McLemore, Assistant Attorney General representing the Power Plant Research Program. First of all, we did file something on Monday. However, I think there may have been a glitch. So I wanted to make sure that you had our document in front of you to begin with. I'm sorry, sir. I cannot understand you. I can't hear you.
We're just checking. So we're
okay. All right, thank you. Yes, so with me today, I have Zachary Barthel, that's with the Power Plant Research Program, and also we have Diane Mountain, who is a consultant with PPRP on behalf, and she has been reviewing some decommissioning plans for a number of years, and they're here to answer questions that you may have about it. I can provide you with a short summary of what happened. So on April the 1st, the revised decommissioning plan was filed and PPRP reviewed it and concluded that the surety financial bond that was proposed is inconsistent with some other methodology that was approved in some other cases, and also that it was inadequate to include the startup costs of decommissioning. And so we included that, and it increased the amount of the decommissioning bond from $796,387 to $1,041,032. And we're available for any questions if you have any.
So, thank you for that. And I'm looking at your filing now. But again, I guess just kind of a continuation. It seems we've approached these bonds, these decommissioning requirements, kind of in a very bespoke type of fashion. Is that accurate? Does each project, do you think, require a completely different methodology? Because it does seem like we do come to different outcomes each time.
Commissioner, that's a good question. I believe this is something that has been evolving over a number of years because there's not a whole lot of information on decommissioning because not many have been decommissioned to this point. However, at this time, I'd like to ask Diane Mountain if she could speak to the specific methodologies in the different cases.
Yes, good morning. This is Diane Mountain from consultant to PPRP. And I would say that over the course of the last 10 years, we and the PPRP program have learned more about decommissioning, and there is largely a standard approach now. As Judge McLean mentioned, one of the largest variables is whether or not an applicant chooses to take credit for salvage value in their decommissioning estimate and the resulting proposed bond value. It has been PPRP's position and recommendation to the commission, and the commission has accepted the idea that that salvage value is very valid and reasonable, especially in the initial bond value. I want to emphasize that the condition requires applicants to resubmit an updated decommissioning plan every 5 years. So that was specifically added to the conditions many years ago so that we can continue to capture the evolving knowledge in the industry about decommissioning processes and what updated with real-time knowledge as it evolves. PPRP's recommendation has been that for the initial 5 years that the decommissioning bond is intended to cover, the salvage value can be quite significant for these facilities. The value of the panels for resale is a significant could be a significant revenue stream that could offset much of the decommissioning cost, and therefore it's a valid, from an engineering perspective, it's a valid element to incorporate into the decommissioning cost estimate. However, even if the revenue might even be greater than the expected decommissioning costs, we have established a mechanism whereby there are defined elements, including the transportation and the overhead and management and permitting costs, and also a contingency fund that are built into these decommissioning cost estimates and bond values.
Great, thank you for that. That was very helpful, and it's good to hear that as you know, we're following the evolving knowledge and experience that's happening. Can I just ask, do other states that have similar clean energy requirements like Maryland, do they have this type of bonding requirement, decommissioning, I should say, requirement? And I just want to find out their best practices, because on one hand, you know, we do want to make sure we protect our counties from the potential expense of decommissioning. But on the other, I don't think we want to necessarily be an outlier and disadvantage our state and discourage development to come to our state. So, are we kind of in line with, I guess, other states? Is my question, that have the same type of requirements that we do.
I would say I do not personally have a lot of current knowledge about what other states are doing. We did prepare an internal report, which PSC staff reviewed about a year ago. That was the last time that we took a really in-depth look at what other states were doing at that time. In the great majority of other states, solar development and permitting and this type of review of decommissioning requirements is done on a county level. It's not done on a state level.
Okay. All right. Well, that's I guess important for us to know. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No questions.
Okay, so anybody here for the applicant?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Are you able to hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Max Cook on behalf of Morgneck Road Solar LLC. I'm also joined by Ms. Krista Ortiz and Mr. Clinton Eddy with the developer. Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, the company's reviewed both staff and PPRP's recommendations, and we agree to post a bond in the heightened amount of PPRP's recommendation of $1,041,032. Accordingly, the applicant would respectfully request that, to the extent the plan is approved, that the bonding amount be included in the commission's order. I will also note, with respect to the question on salvage value, I realize while not yet effective, under Senate Bill 931, salvage is included as a requirement moving forward for these decommissioning plans. So I did just want to note that to the commission that will be included as a requirement moving forward. And with that, we're here to answer any questions from the commission. Thank you.
So actually, while you were talking, we had some interference behind us. So just reiterate what you said regarding the amount of the bond.
With respect to the amount of the bond, the company has reviewed both staff and PPRP's recommendations and has agreed to post bonding in the heightened amount as recommended by PPRP in the amount of $1,041,032. And the applicant would respectfully request that, to the extent this plan is approved, that the commission include that number in the commission's letter order.
Judge Ridley, go ahead.
Good morning, thank you, sir. Good morning, Mr. Cook. Has the county been involved in developing the decommissioning bond at all, or the decommissioning amount, sir?
Thank you, Your Honor. My understanding is that, and Ms. Ortiz, to the extent you have any additional questions, could follow up, but we've provided, the developers provided the plan to the county, and for the decommissioning piece, the county has essentially deferred this to the state, specifically indicating that this is a state decision and up to state PSC review.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Rich?
Yeah, just briefly. I mean, you heard my questions to PPRP witnesses. Do you have any thoughts or comments on how it is doing business in Maryland with regards to the decommissioning requirements? Are we an outlier? Are we kind of similar to what other states that have our types of requirements require, I guess, of the developers?
Commissioner, I'm not sure I know the answer as well, as far as how other states treat the issue.
Okay. All right, well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, so with that, I move that we grant the company's request for approval approval of its decommissioning plan and direct the company to provide documentary evidence of securing a bond of $1,041,032 prior to the start of construction. Chief Judge McLean.
I'll vote aye, and if I could just add that I think the commission should consider when reviewing these bonds every 5 years that PGA style evidentiary hearing, a short hearing be held to determine, to have a deeper look into these estimated costs, because the counties have the potential for being on the hook for a large amount of dollars in the event the developer walks away.
Mr. Richard.
Aye.
I vote aye. And with that, we're adjourned from the administrative meeting. And for those who are, let me just check with the executive secretary. Do we need to set things up for the EV hearing?
Yeah, we'll pause this, and if folks can just be on the same link at 11 a.m., if that works for everybody, we'll start then.
Sounds good.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Andrew, could we do a quick test on our side for the extra